So we went out with YouGov to over 2,000 businesses of all sizes and shapes and asked them, what are the skills your workforce needs to meet the challenges of the future? And what came back gets around the sort of the short-term answer. When we speak to TikTok, they say quite literally that they don't know the problem they're going to be working on in the next 4 months. So that's quite sobering when you talk about skills. So you have to start to redefine what skills are a little bit. So in what came back from 2,000 businesses were things like problem solving, critical thinking, communication, so that you can work together across subject areas, digital competency analysis, but also adaptability and resilience. So if you start to think about skills in that way, you can get around the short-term problem of, what are the skills we need now? And by the time we respond to that, those skills will have moved on to some other skills. And to really start to educate people to be able to almost continually and constantly reskill and upskill. And when we get, I hope I have the opportunity later to talk about it at the university, we are going to be doing that in the curriculum now.
Okay, so
that is the response to the
so there are
challenge.
Specific technical skills you need, but there's also a broader how you run businesses, how you scale up, that are also necessary to be taught.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, there's the subject competence or the technical competence, but also these other skills that surround it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it sounds like what you're really asking for is a whole new approach to the way we educate people. Moving away from functions to sort of actual sort of problem solving. And
yes, expanding the notion of skills and having education rise to that challenge. Yes.
What specifically must the government do urgently as well as for the long term?
There's a couple of good initiatives. The lifelong learning entitlement, if that could be designed to facilitate this continuous reskilling, that would be a win. If we could fix the apprenticeship levy, that would be a win. And I think the Creative Industries Council is a fantastic model that sits between DCMS and BES. But the problem, and I'll be quite blunt here, education and business policy are completely siloed. So the higher education minister needs a seat in BES. In BES is where the discussions about the future world of work are happening. The higher education minister doesn't have any part in those conversations. UK Research and Innovation distributes £1 billion a year to universities and to support innovation in business. The higher education minister has no say in that distribution. So who's going to deliver the skills? The skills are going to be delivered by FE and HE, and they are not at the table when these conversations are being had. The Office for Students also needs to understand the future world of work. They're using metrics for the quality of courses and the quality of graduate outputs, which completely ignore entrepreneurism, completely ignore startups, which are really you can only really hit through graduate employment schemes. So that's a really old-fashioned idea of what work is going to be like. It's not the future of work. So all of those things do an impact on what the educational sphere will offer, because those are all judging how well we're doing. So I think there needs to be quite a bit more of a think and get the conversation about industry and business much more into the higher education sphere. It does seem that a lot of what we're talking about today is driving innovation in the economy, isn't it? And a lot of that is being done at least in the beginning, by higher and further education. So it seems sort of obvious to put those two things together. I mean, my university, we're working really closely with industry. That report is the voice of industry, and we're going to turn the whole university on its head to deliver that. So there are universities, mine is not the only one by any means, that are working very, very closely with industry to try and deliver what it says it needs.